Alright, let's take a tour of this Mason & Hamlin and see the soundboard's been glued in for a while. I've done this trim. I replaced this piece of trim, these two pieces of trim, just because these are kind of broken up and I couldn't really resolve how I wanted to get these dowels tight into here. Where is it? After busting this out, I drilled these out oversized to get the soundboard out. So anyway, I made two new ones of those. I had put these screws back in. I scraped the finish off the bottom, made sure that they were flat, sitting flat, and then glued those back on. This is where the plate gets screwed in, and then these dowels support the plate at a certain height. This piano, as you can see, is pretty high. You have a lot of room to adjust these dowels if need be, which is good. It's always good to have extra height. These are roughed in now. I'll put the plate back in once again to go over this. And I'm just about to paint a black line on here. I'm going to paint over this white stuff so that the soundboard looks normal again. I mean, the plate will be in here. You wouldn't see it anyway, but I mean, I'm going to still paint over this white stuff just so it's not a topic of conversation. Couple little things left to do. This little block, the plate gets screwed onto here, and the pin block. So this, I haven't scraped this yet, but I'm just deciding. I didn't go back and look at any old pictures of why this area exists and what was here. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It looks like I did take something off of there, so maybe there was just, I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it's usually soundboard. So what I'm gonna make, I'm gonna getting ready to cut this thing out. I'll chop out this goo, put this in, chop this down and glue that in so the soundboard extends around here like it does on other pianos. That's kind of a small point. I fine fit the pin block here, and so what I usually do is I cut this thing to go in, fit in pretty easily, and I know it's going to have to move to the base, and I do that because it's kind of relatively easy to take wood off of the base, and also for a more weird reason. I want the base to fit perfectly, and I don't care if I have to glue a shim. So I had to move this pin block over whatever the width of this shim, this piece of veneer is, and then I made this what looks like an overly elaborate jig, but it really isn't. This is all scrap wood from pianos. This is pin blocks. You know, I mean, there's two bolts. This quickly goes on here, and then you just really quickly put these clamps on there. And I mean, that's the way I do it, and one reason is I want it to fit very tightly in the base. This isn't going to come out right. It's not going to... These tuning pin holes, when you drive a tuning pin into that hole, I mean, let's just take one of these holes. You drive a tuning pin into there, it's going to try to push it out. That's how the tuning pins are tight. This hole is smaller than the tuning pin. You pound the pin in there, and it's going to try to expand. Well, if you have a tuning pin, let's say you screwed up the bottom and there's a tuning pin right here on the end and it's pushing out, it's very likely to crack out on the sides over time and, you know, weaken that pin. So are we worried about these tuning pins that are in the middle of the block way down here? No. So I don't care what happens in this area, whether this is tight. There's no tuning pins in here driving that out. So the fact that there's a shim glued in there is not going to interrupt that. It's a bit technical for if you're just watching this for fun. But anyway, I try to make these videos a little longer. Somebody once asked me not to go so fast, but I don't know. I tend to get talking and I can't stop. So I think that's pretty much all. I'm deciding whether I'm going to do what we like to call a Mona Lisa job in here. And you can see where the case got banged and scuffed up a little bit from those things, those calls. Now I could rub this out, sand this out, and it would probably be fine. Or I can go nuts and really sand this out nicely, put another nice coat of varnish on there, and then sand this down again after the black line is painted on there, and put another coat of soundboard finish on here. But I really doubt if I'm going to do that. I think enough is enough. I want to get this thing, I got to get started on the plate. I've been avoiding the plate like the plague, but I gotta get going on that. So anyway, for now, that is it.